Welcome to Amplifying Wellness and TLC podcast. This is a place where we're dedicated to your self-care and your wellness. We will be sharing guest stories, information, and tips on how to live happier and healthier lives. We're Twin Life Coaching and Business Services with your host, myself, Barb and Tara Lehman. We care about increasing awareness around self-care and mental health through this podcast, as well as through our coaching, consulting, workshops, and our communities. To find out all about our services and our communities, please visit www.twinlifecoaching.ca. As a reminder as well, this podcast is for sharing of stories and information only and is not intended to be or replace any medical advice you're seeking or you have received already. So we want to talk about building strengths today, right, Barb?
Yeah, it's something that I think a lot of people forget they have.
Yes, I know. And I don't know about your clients recently, but a lot of my clients, they're concerned about the world, right? They're concerned about everything. They worry about things in some cases. And, they really are focusing on weaknesses or gaps they have. I don't know if you've seen that with some of your clients, either their career or nutrition or anything like that.
Yeah, just a lot of more negative thoughts, so that the negative thought seems to be coming out, the I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
When, everybody has strengths, and if you build on those, you can do things. You just got to figure out what they are.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need somebody to help you do a little bit of asking you questions or doing an assessment to determine, what your strengths are. And then when you know that, it makes it a little bit easier, I think, to build on
Mm-hmm.
that especially when you're kind of in more of a hard space or a negative space, or, as we all know, things like even finances are so hard, grocery shopping's hard. It's hard to come up with, what am I actually good at when the world is surrounded by all that negative? But speaking of tools, we have a really good tool.
We do.
Sarah can share a little bit about that because you just
Yeah.
recently redid it on yourself.
I did. So this is a tool that's available to all of our community members, and it's free. It's an online tool that we found. Actually, I got from a fellow coach of mine, which I love. And yeah, I've taken it a couple of times, and leadership always comes up as my number one strength. So I try to always take that strength that it tells me and really build off of that rather than focusing on what like number 25 was on the list, right? I mean, why worry about that? A lot of people focus too much on their weaknesses when they do these things, but really if you build on your strengths, you're building on yourself, you're allowing yourself to grow and learn more about your strength. I mean, you always learn. And, leadership is a massive topic, but it came up as number one for me. But just because I'm a leadership coach doesn't mean I have all the answers. So continual development of those strengths only allows us to move forward in much better ways. So Barb, what would you say is one of your strengths, and how do you develop that to keep, so that you can keep moving forward, right?
Yeah, if I'm thinking around, the nutrition aspect of my coaching, so if we're kind of focusing on the coaching thing, for me, I think it's a lot of consistency. So I figured out, I mean, not everybody knows, but I did lose quite a lot of weight a few years back,
Mm-hmm.
about 40 some odd pounds. I've kept it off. I
Mm-hmm.
have figured out how to be consistent in what I do and how I eat and what I eat and all those, but continually learning more about it
Yes.
is helping me maintain that. So yeah, being consistent is one of my big ones. I'm pretty good at that.
Yes, you are. And I think too, when we talk about strengths, I think it's really important to make sure that people understand that we can always build them. Like you're
Yeah.
talking consistency, but you might fall off the wagon, so to speak, right?
Yeah, it's happened, the things come up, and all of us will have those moments where we have a lapse in time. Lapses happen, but then we just have to turn around and go, okay, I got to refocus again,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It's not that challenging, if you recognize it's okay to have fault with it. But when it starts to get to the point where it's constantly in its negative eyes, where I can't anymore. For you, like my leadership skills suck today. Oh my God, I'm a terrible leader. That's not a good way to go about approaching your thought.
Mm-hmm.
You have to reprocess that and reword it to something a little more positive. Like, today's an off day. In general, I do great with my leadership. So tomorrow I'm going to jump back on the bandwagon and go
Yeah.
forward, right?
Yeah,
I think a lot of people
exactly.
forget to do that part of it, is that it's okay to have a moment in time when maybe that strength isn't your strongest that day, and you have to
Yeah.
kind of adapt a bit.
Yeah, I love that. I 100% agree with it too, because, so many people focus on their weaknesses and forget about their strengths. But even
Yeah,
if you look at those weaknesses, you can reframe that again to be positive. So, maybe I'm the worst, I don't know, horseback rider out there. I wouldn't know. I don't horseback ride much. But maybe I feel like that is a huge weak point for me, but I can grow that. I can
yeah,
fill the gap if I just put that positive mindset around learning and growth and what can I do to improve, right?
yeah, yeah. And that
Yeah.
goes right along with things. So the language of growth mindset,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
it's true. Yes.
It goes right
Yeah.
along with that.
So I guess our message for today then is, don't focus on necessarily all the weaknesses you have. If you do want to focus on one of the weaknesses, so focus on it positively in a way to grow and develop. And
Yes.
when you look at your strengths, you look at how you can grow and develop them. Because even confidence as a strength can sometimes, one day you have a bad day, you lack confidence with something, but you can build that back up. So use those strengths, right?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think it's important that, like you said, when you're looking at your weaknesses and people just focus so heavily on them and to build on your weaknesses because weaknesses can be learning moments. And so if people,
Hmm.
instead of seeing it as a weakness, see it as, oh, it's an area I need to build and learn on, then you
Yeah,
can
exactly.
develop it into a strength, right? So like you can turn it around and it is a strength 6 months from now. It's like saying, oh, I don't know Spanish, so I can't go to,
Hmm.
Spain. Well, but I can learn Spanish. I can learn enough to get me along, right? So you can turn it
Hmm.
into a strength to say, now I'm starting to learn a new language. So, I mean, that's just a silly example, but
Yeah,
it's an example
still.
of you're saying I can't, but you actually can, right? And
Yeah.
you start slowly in baby steps and you can build on all your weaknesses.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, I guess that's our message for today. We really just wanted everybody to be, growth mindset when it comes to
Yeah.
strengths and filling those gaps for weaknesses positively, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
I think there's a lot of strengths out there that we forget we have, and we need to bring those forward again.
Thank you to our listeners, of course, for joining us today. We can't wait to bring you more to amplifying your wellness with us, with our guest stories, challenges, wins, and tips to help you on your self-care journey. As a reminder, our Amplifying Your Wellness with TLC community is also a great place for you to find the support for everything you need, including discounts, resources, and so much more. To find out more about our community and all of our services, please visit us at twinlifecoaching.ca. Until next time, remember, you've got this.